He made the whole world laugh. But behind that big smile was a pain so deep, even his closest friends didn't see it coming. John Candy was the heart of 1980s comedy, the lovable everyman who made us laugh until we cried. But as it turns out, his real life was far more heartbreaking than any role he ever played. John Candy wasn't just a comedian, he was comfort itself. With his warm grin, quick wit, and genuine kindness, he had a rare gift. He made people feel seen. From planes, trains, and automobiles to Uncle Buck and Cool Runnings, he wasn't just acting, he was connecting. Audiences adored him because he represented the best of humanity. Humble, funny, and full of heart. But while the world saw a man who could brighten any room, John was fighting a private battle, one he could never quite win. Born in Ontario, Canada, in 1950, John lost his father at just 5 years old. That early tragedy left a mark on him, one that shaped his entire life. He carried the weight of loss quietly, often using humor as his armor. Friends say that his laughter was genuine, but sometimes it was also a shield. When he made others laugh, it was his way of easing the pain he carried inside. His rise to fame through SCTV and later Hollywood success seemed like a dream come true. But behind the fame was a man struggling to hold himself together. The pressures of Hollywood were brutal. Candy's natural modesty clashed with the demands of stardom. He was self-conscious about his weight and deeply uncomfortable with the idea of being a celebrity. Studio executives often made cruel comments about his size, pressuring him to lose weight, even as they built entire characters around his larger frame. It was a painful irony. The thing that made him lovable on screen was the very thing that made him suffer off it. Despite his growing fame, John remained grounded. He loved his family, his wife Rosemary, and their 2 children, more than anything. He often said that fame meant nothing compared to being a good father. But as the roles piled up and the schedule grew grueling, his health began to decline. Candy struggled with stress, insomnia, and weight-related health problems. He turned to food and sometimes alcohol for comfort, caught in a cycle he couldn't escape. Those close to him worried constantly. His friend and co-star, Catherine O'Hara, once said, "He cared so much about everyone else, but never enough about himself." By the early 1990s, the warning signs were impossible to ignore. Candy had taken on too many projects, driven by a sense of obligation to his fans, to his family, and to the people who depended on him. He was filming Wagons East in Mexico in 1994 when tragedy struck. On March 4th, he was found dead in his hotel room from a heart attack. He was only 43 years old. The news shattered Hollywood. The man who had brought so much laughter into the world was gone far too soon. But the deeper tragedy wasn't just his death, it was the years of pain he carried in silence. John Candy gave the world joy, but he never gave himself the same kindness. He struggled with self-worth, with pressure, and with the fear that he would never live up to his own success. His passing left a hole not only in Hollywood, but in the hearts of everyone who grew up watching him today. When fans look back at his films, they don't just see a comedian, they see a man who turned pain into laughter and heartbreak into hope. His legacy reminds us that sometimes the people who make us smile the most are the ones who hurt the deepest. John Candy's story isn't just tragic, it's human. And though he left the world too soon, his laughter still echoes, reminding us that kindness and humor can outlive even the darkest pain.